so David saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, it was Marilyn needs a kidney.
Yeah.
Why not? She needs it, I got it.
As passionate as he is about giving, I just knew this was going to happen, and it was something he had to do.
Cyndi is my niece. She's the eldest of my sister's children. Ever since I had my first transplant through Robert, we of course have monitored my kidney function, and kidneys really only are, transplanted kidneys are only supposed to last maybe 13 years or so. And we were going on year 18, and over the last several years my kidney function had diminished. It's just the natural part of things, in part because of the drugs that you take.
It's a large portion.
Because, yes, it is. After my first transplant, I was asked to join a council for transplant recipients and donors at Northwestern's Transplant Center. Transplanted kidneys don't last very long, but his lasted a lot longer than we thought. And then I was told by my physicians that due to my advanced age of 70 that I'd best find my own kidney donor again, which threw me for a loop. For one thing, I was offended that they thought I was old. But for another, I thought, holy cow, I got lucky with my husband, and how do you go about asking somebody to be a donor? It's just a daunting thing and very humbling. I shared with the council my need for a new kidney, and they all said, oh, we're finding you a kidney. I mean, immediately I had advocates for me. And one such person, who herself was an undirected kidney donor, hooked up with my niece Susan, and they schemed, and they said, we're going to do a Facebook page for you. We'll tell your story. They asked me a couple of questions, and they started putting the word out.
Yeah, it was Marilyn needs a kidney.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I said, what's wrong with me? You know, it's, I'm healthy. I had a great example because Robert had done it 20 years ago, and we were about similar in age.
That was about 27, or no, 50.
Yeah, 52.
52.
Yeah, which is, and I was 51 when we had the surgery,
Yeah.
right before my 52nd birthday. So I had a great example of, witness, and what better way. So it wasn't like I really went into it blind. But I said, why not me? I took it as, and I tell people all the time, I found it as an opportunity. It was an opportunity. How many people can say that they gave someone life?
I was blown away because he texted me, what blood type are you? And I said, type A. And he said, well, I'm an A+. David, I know you're an A+ guy. No doubt about it. No.
This is almost verbatim of text, so I can pull it up.
No, I'd like to do this. And I said, David, please, I don't want anyone in the family, because I think probably they knew that Susan had already offered, and I thought, I don't want people to feel like they have to do that. He said, no pressure, when and where.
Yeah, I don't think I even talked to Susan before I texted you that, so I didn't really know her process.
Yeah.
We talked after,
Yeah.
but you saw the page and why not? She needs it, I got it. I don't think we discussed it. It was, that was a hard discussion,
Yeah.
because I had really came to the realization before I even talked to Cyndi about it, which was, for me it was an easy decision. It was, I call it a no-brainer.
The first time we talked about it. I wasn't surprised at all. Because David will do anything for anyone. This was a little more extreme than what he usually does, but if you need something done, he's right there to help you, no matter who you are. Because his family, his dad in particular, always was very giving, and they went to church a lot because, as his dad says, that's what you do when you're a Christian. I knew that, born out of that, yes, I knew that this would be an extension of what David had to do as a part of his faith, yes.
We have a very close extended family. And when David said he was willing to do this, I was ecstatic.
Of course there was fear involved on my end because we got the 3 kids and two of the 3 are far away, and if something were to happen, even though the chances were low, it would affect us, and I wanted to make sure that they were aware of what was going to happen and what the concerns could be. But after thinking about all that, I knew it was going to be a done deal because as passionate as he is about giving, I just knew this was going to happen, and it was something he had to do.
It didn't actually surprise me that David might have done this and thought of this, because David always sort of walks the walk with what he's involved in.
Our journey from day one was, it's an open book, we're walking this walk together.
Well, I was absolutely blown away and humbled. But I was concerned because I thought it's not really as easy as all that. Where do I show up? I said, I think we need to all get together as a family and talk about the process.
It is a major surgical procedure. It's done laparoscopically, 2 or 3 little holes. Okay, they remove the kidney, which is back here, and then right at the very end they put a little bag on the kidney and they make an incision, maybe about that big, so they can take the kidney out. Okay, and so it's
The battery of tests, the process itself is pretty intense. Not only physically, mentally, financially. Worst case scenario is we can say that we did everything we could to, make things right. I expect her to live a full life. That's what I expect. I knew she'd take care of it. I mean, I've seen her at the doctor's office. She's got a binder, by God.
Spreadsheets.
And they're wonderful people. When the process starts, they tell you flat out that the recipient and the donor do not have to interact. They don't. You're in the recipient's in one room, the donor's in the other room. They never have to interact at all. I don't even have to know. I could have backed out whenever I wanted to, and they would have said he wasn't a match.
And I would not know.
And she
And
would
that's
know.
a good thing. Yeah.
But our journey from day one was, it's an open book. We're walking this walk together. Our day, which at the time was not picked, I didn't think of it until after. The surgery was on September 11th. September 11th was a day of gloom and doom. An American tragedy on September 11th.
Just as I am, thou wilt receive, wilt welcome.
We gave September 11th a new meaning. We gave it life.
Because thy promise I believe, O Lamb of God, I come, I come.
I guess through this process, leading up to it, as many people know, last summer we moved one kid to Arizona, another one's from Florida, and Irma came through a week before, and I call this my faith. It's just kind of a miracle because Andrew got displaced
From Florida. 'Cause of
from
her.
Florida and was home. for the day. He made it home, found gas when there was no gas. Made it here. He was here Friday. Our surgery was Monday. And yeah, he was here to drive us. He drove with us to the hospital. So I not only had him, but I also had my older daughter Sarah at the hospital. I had one question and one stipulation before our surgery that I had of Marilyn. The question was, which way do you walk in the hall after the process is done? She said clockwise. I said I'll walk counterclockwise. We'll meet in the middle in the hall. And the other stipulation I said is when this process is done, I have one requirement of you: outlive this kidney. You know, those are my. So the morning of, yeah, she has to report first, and then I report. She was there around 4:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I was there at 5 in the morning. Checked in, got your gown, met 150 different people coming into your room, talked to your surgeon, said your goodbyes. Next thing I know, I'm waking up, I don't even know what time it is, asking for her is my first response is, where's my wife? And, you know, and then it was, once I got with her, you know, how was Marilyn? Her mistake was she walked counterclockwise.
I know. I messed it up.
So I had to catch her, but
She did.
I do have.
Well,
Yes, I'm gonna share it. The infamous photo that is starting to see the light of day. Mainly for educational purposes, but when this photo was taken, she did say, "This will not see the light of day." This was my Christmas present this last year from them. On the bottom it says "Forever Yours," but this was taken the day after surgery. Had surgery Monday. On Tuesday, we met in the hall, and that's when this was taken. It was, you know, I mean, it's special. You know, it's, and I know that, you know, they feel almost indebted, but how can I not feel? Stacks of cards from
my friends.
yeah, and you.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
you
No,
know.
it's the least I could do. Send you a get well card.
But these are the cards that I received mainly from your friends.
Yeah.
But through this process, the one thing that really rang true is it does take an army. It takes a village.
Absolutely.
We're all humans here to give each other help. And I had an opportunity to help somebody. And I took advantage of it. I had a great support system. I had great people. My family was there. And our friends were fantastic. My church family. Kidney donor.
That's good. Yeah. All right, Robert.
So this event is about bringing together living donors and celebrating the bond that we have through being living donors. We're also bringing together different organ transplant organizations so that people can kind of see the whole array of what people are doing surrounding organ donation. And we got the idea because we met online. She's my online platonic girlfriend. And we did this last year because we created this bond online and we wanted to meet in person. And so, you know, we posted it online and 15 people came.
Yeah, probably.
So there's a few more people coming this year. It's we're up to 1,300, so we're pretty happy. Yeah, there isn't a record, so we just have to get 250 to make the record, which we will make. Yes,
Easily. Yeah.
I think the most rewarding thing has been walking around the city, and you see people in one of our sweatshirts, and they stop what they're doing and they hug you. And if we could live in a world where you could walk around the city and hug random people because you're wearing a matching sweatshirt, I think it would be a better world to live in.
That the physicians are also the researchers and are major innovators in transplant and transplant medicine, including building immune tolerance. And that's really developed in standard of care that transplant recipients will not have to take immune suppressing drugs, or it'll be minimal. As a result, their organ will last longer.
The most difficult part of the whole thing was probably making myself vulnerable and letting my wife do things for me. She had to drive me, she had to feed me, she had to take me, arrange, unfortunately we had a stint in the ER a week later, and, she had to arrange that.
The most difficult part for me is realizing that David was really going to do this. And how do you ever thank someone sufficiently who does something like that for you?
I talk a lot to Cyndi about, when you die, what's your legacy? I grew up with a plaque that said if you were arrested for being a Christian, would there be enough evidence to convict you? My faith? Wow, Jen and I talked about it Wednesday night a little bit, my faith. For me, my faith is very hard to project because it's been a part of my life, my entire life. I was always a part of a church, through the teenage years, drugged by your ear or whatever, go. And then I went to a Lutheran college. I met I meet a preacher's kid, so of course we're going to church now. So the faith is always, how you want to raise your kids. If you don't lead by example, you can't be an armchair parent. I heard that a lot through our kids growing up. You have to lead by example, and what better way to lead by example than,